And we are back for Multithon 2024, benefiting Blue Path again. My name is Joker, and we are ready for this SpongeBob SquarePants multi-game race. It's Jaxler, it's IllegallySam. They're going to be running the SpongeBob SquarePants movie and SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. These are two absolutely fun games. And gentlemen, the floor is yours. Good luck.
All right, thank you so much. What's up, everybody? So like Joker said, we're going to be racing two completely different SpongeBob games. So I'm going to be running SpongeBob Movie, and then Sam is going to be running Rehydrated. So I guess we'll start with the introductions. I am Jaxler. I'm going to be running Movie.
Hello, I'm IllegallySam, and I'm going to be running Rehydrated.
Yeah, so kind of interesting because it just so happens that both of the categories that we're doing sort of just happen to line up around the same time, so it's kind of interesting how that all compares. But yeah, no, this will be really sick. So I guess first thing I'll mention, at least for my run, or probably explain what the two categories are. For SpongeBob Movie, this is no pause storage, which is essentially the primary like any % category for the game. It bans a dumb glitch that makes the game less fun. So that's the long and the short of that. And then, Sandy, if you want to explain what 77 is.
Yeah, I'll be running 77 Spat, which is the minimum required spatulas to reach the... Well, you need 75 to reach the final boss, so 77 is the minimum amount after the final boss to beat the game without using a dumb glitch, just like your category. Because we can warp wherever we want, and so if we ban that, we have to get all the spatulas. So you will not be seeing me warp everywhere all over the place, even though that is very fun.
It's kind of interesting too because, and you know, Sam's running the remake of Battle for Bikini Bottom, which was actually made in the same engine as Movie, which is what I'm playing. But I find it kind of interesting too because I think in a lot of ways Rehydrated and SpongeBob Movie are kind of similar speed games in the sense that you're going to see a lot of nonsense, a lot of really bizarre and kind of specific tricks that all just kind of add up together to break the game apart. So, I don't know. I love these kinds of runs. I'm glad we get to show them both off. And, you know, I think we're pretty much good to go. So,
yeah, I think we can...
Sam, are you good to go?
Yeah, I think we can talk more about the games once we actually get going.
Sweet. Joker, would you be able to count us in from 3 and start us on go?
Oh, absolutely. All right. In 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. I can skip cutscenes, so I'm going to be into the thick of things very quickly here.
Yeah, both runs kind of get off to a pretty fast start.
Never fear, good citizens of Bikini Bottom.
See, I've run Rehydrated a little bit, but like the game. So we were mentioning this in the break room earlier. Rehydrated got really broken again pretty recently, so I have like no like memory of what the route looks like nowadays. So.
Yeah, we're kind of in a period that we're calling the Rehydrated Renaissance, because like a bunch of people are actually coming back and running the game again. We're finding a bunch of new stuff. There's even a task pool that people are using to task the game.
Yeah, it's pretty freaking wild. So you're gonna see me do a trick in my run here at the end of the level for the first time called a token warp. Both games kind of have a similar style of trick where we can skip the animation for getting a major collectible by all sorts of different methods. I'm gonna do mine here with a lag buffer right there. So there's a 2-frame window in Movie where if you pause the game, you can actually get the token and then warp away. So that's what I'm going to do right there. And then I'm going into a really tough platforming section right here. So I'm just going to... Okay, I'll take the ledge grab.
Yeah, so I also did a animation skip. So I'm collecting spatulas, and spat animations are about 4 seconds in this game. So if you can skip them, that obviously adds up to multiple minutes. And there's like a half dozen ways to skip them. The way I just did was the fact that if you collect a spat while you're on a bungee, it doesn't play the animation until you land, so you can just warp away while you're still on the bungee. Also, I'm definitely going through this section as intended by climbing all over out of bounds.
It's so funny too, because like that specific like animation skip, I think that works in OG Battle for Bikini Bottom as well, if I remember correctly. It's been years since I've run that game.
Also, I just did another type of animation skip where by entering an area in midair and like hitting the loading trigger for it, Spongebob will fall to the ground and then collect the spatula while you're loading into the next area. And there's going to be a few variants of that, but obviously that is another way to skip those animations.
Yeah.
And
So
I'm also coming up on the first like actual trick of the run, the lemma skip.
Yeah. And meanwhile, you have me. I had to do the chocolate crick early, just basically letting us get a Goofy Goober token early, so we get cartwheel right away, and we don't have to do a really annoying combat sequence, and then we'll be sequence breaking the rest of the way from here. So best of luck on Dilemma.
Yeah, I botched it first try, so I gotta do it again.
Dilemma sucks.
Right.
It doesn't matter what version of the game.
Oh yeah, got it second try though.
We take those. Let's see if I get this token warp.
Yeah, what I did was basically by spinning, which is your main form of attack in midair, it lets you stall just like a little bit in midair, so you can just get much further jumps using it. And there's also the the slam. It like pops you up a little bit, and when you do that, it lets you like kind of clip through ceilings that are right above you, that are like not fully covering you, so you can just land higher using that. And both of those let you skip Patrick's Dilemma.
Right there, I just skipped like the entire level of I'm Ready Depression. Which is a great level name, by the way. Like, it's just peak video game right there. You'll notice this a lot more in movie than you'll see in Rehydrated. Although there's a little bit of it in Rehydrated, where there's just like so much coyote time that you can just hit random geometry sometimes, and it just counts as a surface you can stand on and get your double jumps back. And so we're going to be seeing that a lot in the movie here, but not here because I am driving a sandwich. So that's like kind of like the big difference between like that Bikini Bottom. That like that Bikini Bottom really leans into the collectathon side of things, where a lot of those elements do that gameplay. So we've got driving levels, we've got sliding levels, and then we have some of the more stuff. So it's gonna be pretty on my for a good game. So
Speaking of a collectathon angle, I'm in downtown Bikini Bottom now. This level is the first level where the collectathon angle really comes into play, because almost every level in this game has like a level-specific collectible, and if you get them all, you can turn them in for a spatula. And this is also the only level where we're actually going to be collecting all of them as intended. Because there's a little secret way of getting those spatulas in every other level without collecting anything, which I will talk about when I actually do it. This level has 11 steering wheels for me to collect, and I'm going to be collecting all of them. In addition to these spatulas and the socks that I'm also getting throughout the level.
yeah, so in Rehydrated, and OG Battle as well, if you get 10 socks, you can trade those into Patrick for one spatula. So, depending on like the category and like what the route is in the game, like certain socks will be super fast to just grab, and it gets us a free spatula.
Yeah, in 77 spat, depending on what version of the run you're doing, you'll either be getting 30 or 40 socks for 3 or 4 spatulas. Also, if you thought Rehydrated looked a little busted before, this is where things really get crazy. Because I could just fly now. So yeah, that is a trick called ILH, or Infinite Lasso Hover, where if you ledge grab with Sandy and then activate the lasso during the ledge grab, you just fly.
Yeah, no, it's not even that like hard to set up. Too. The fun thing about that glitch is like, it's more so once you have the glitch, making sure you're not doing the wrong things that will cause you to die.
Yeah, if you're not careful, you will literally just fly into the stratosphere with no way to get back down. But if you know what you're doing, it's like you'll almost never have that happen once you know what you're doing. But it's very easy to do when you're just learning it.
Alright, so I'm coming into the next major platforming level, 3,000 Miles to Shell City, which we usually just abbreviate to 3K. Something you're going to see on my end right off the bat is something called bash boosting. So whenever you're grounded in one of the OG SpongeBob games, there's a frame where whenever you take damage off like spikes, there's the game will try to like put you back to where you last jumped off, and your considered grounded on like solid earth for a frame. So if you hold Y to do a bash move, you can actually preserve the momentum from the damage boost further into the air, and it lets you do a lot of cool platforming skips, not only in this level, but a couple others where we have access to Spongebob. It's a big one right there. And we're just going to be doing that a good bit here, and some nonsense routing as well, so... Oh, and I died. Classic. That's like a 2-second death, but... Yeah, essentially, a lot of what goes on with the routing for this game is trying to route around those token warps, because in this game they can save anywhere from like 5 to 10 seconds, because oftentimes they allow you to skip like extra loading screens, which matters a lot for this game because it came out in like 04. Right here, we'll do a bash boost, do a little bit of a skip right here. We're gonna hit that, and it'll say the bungee challenge is now open, and I'm gonna go for a 4-frame window trick right here. So hopefully I get this. That should be good. Nice. So if you pause within 4 frames of coming into contact with that button, it will spawn the token for the bounce challenge, but it skips the cutscene. So we can just walk straight to the token and completely skip the challenge. And then flashing lights warning for my side of the screen, because I'm going to be going very Omega out of bounds, and there's going to be a lot of like screen tearing and like weird flashing colors because of the skybox. There's just a hole in the water right here that you can walk underneath. And then in this game, if you are underneath like a floor, you can just kind of infinitely jump and keep moving. And I'm going to attempt to skip further into the level with something called Steamed Early here.
So you know it's a good speedrun if you have to give a flashing lights warning.
Oh yeah.
Flashback to AGDQ when everyone was reacting to Superstar Saga live.
Oh my goodness. Alright, so I got through there okay. So you have to do like basically like 3 damage boosts to get through there. And if you mess up any of them, then you have to start the trick all over because you don't have the health upgrades otherwise. But we get that, and by getting that token, and this is a big thing across both of our runs, is if we collect like a token or a spatula out of order, then it'll actually unlock that objective's like warp point in the pause menu. And then we can warp to the start of that objective, because the game just assumes that if we've gotten that, then we have logically accessed that the normal way, which obviously we won't be doing that a lot. But it's going to let us basically teleport further into the level in several instances.
Yeah, it is going to be very, very useful in a couple of runs for me, because I do them backwards.
Oh, yeah.
Also, speaking of levels where I definitely do things as intended, this spatula I'm going to get is called Come Back with the Cruise Bubble. I don't have the Cruise Bubble. I'm not going to come back. I'm just going to get it with Sandy because they made all this geometry on the wall have collision.
It's
so
so
stand
nice.
on it.
That's the other reason I love running Rehydrated as well, is that the bungees on Rehydrated are way more fun to go through than they are on OG. Because of the... I assume you did the strat where you like go down to the tikis and like just kick them.
I'm doing it right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so...
That's one of my favorite strats.
So yeah, the way this spat is supposed to work is there's 3 bungee things around the sea needle that you're supposed to, you know, with Spongebob, use the bungee to break all the tikis. But the game just cares if you break all of the tikis at one of these 3 times. It doesn't actually matter which one it is. You can just drop down with Sandy, destroy them all 3 times, and respawn back up at the top every single time, and it counts.
This hurts me more than it hurts
It's so good.
So yeah, the spat that Mr. Krabs definitely asked me to do with Spongebob.
Alright, so I'm going to be going for a really difficult trick here called Rub-a-Dub Skip. This has a really tight frame window to make work, and a really tough setup on the D-pad, so I'm just going to be quiet here for a second and try to line this up. That might work, actually. Okay, first try. So,
nice.
So I did something there called the wood boost, where if you jump off of a slide surface on a specific frame, there are certain like triggers that will cause you to slow down midair, but if you hit that frame, you won't slow down. So I'm not out of the woods with that though, because we will be coming back to this level for the time challenge, and I'll have to do that one more time. But I got that first try. That trick sucks. Go ahead.
I'm now in Jellyfish Fields. For some reason, some areas in the game are They just don't force you to be a certain character, so I'm Sandy in Jellyfish Fields, which you're not supposed to be able to do. And I'm going to use that to just fly around out of bounds for the entire map in this area and just get
so
straight
fun.
to the end.
Yeah. And then while Dan's doing that, I gotta do a series of 2-frame jumps up this slide right here because life hates me. But, hold on a second. Come on, Pat. There we go.
This trick is great because it's just so goofy. Flying around out of bounds like this. Yeah, ideally, I would have been able to keep the speed from the slide all the way up until the spat, but if I go a little too high, I have to break out of it early, like I did right there.
Alright, I'm just gonna reset this trick from the start because holy crap.
Alright. And with that, I'm leaving Jellyfish Fields a second time. We'll be back, don't worry.
That was rough, but we're out of there. So, alright, so what I was doing there, while Sam was talking, is something called 2-frame slide jumps. So, there's a, it takes 3 frames for the game to start applying momentum in a direction from a slide. So if you jump within 2 frames of landing on the slide, you won't get pulled down by, like, the momentum of the slide, right? And so, that there is tough for, like, not only because it's a 2-frame window, but if you jump on the earliest possible frame, it makes you double jump. So you have to react on the fly, and so that part can be really tricky. And then on top of that, I've got an actual frame perfect trick coming up on the next token as well. So, with earlier I kind of mentioned that you're grounded for a frame after getting knocked back by like spikes. Normally with a bash, you can just hold the button and buffer the input. But if you want to get your double jump out of it, it is a true frame perfect window. Which I'm going to try to do in order to skip Disco Star. But we'll see how that goes with how bad the level skip on BBVH goes.
Yes.
The whole reason, just to explain the whole reason I did that as well, that was essentially the fight. I hit a trigger in that slide to trigger the end of the level so I can beat it immediately later. I'm just going through here for the tokens at the moment.
Also, I'm fighting the first boss fight. This is Robo Sandy. This fight, you mostly just like manip the attack patterns to do the fastest attack. But with Patrick there, if you noticed, I kind of just cut out an entire attack cycle because you can re-grab the head after throwing it into the scoreboard there to do damage. And if you can re-grab it while it's taking damage, you can just throw it again before the animation ends and do damage again. And you can just chain that technically 6 times. It's just so hard and also not worth it because it breaks things. So I only do it 2 times. It still saves time.
So I think kind of at this point, while Sam's working on phase 3, and I'm just kind of doing some movement to get to a Spongebob challenge. Joker, if you have anything you'd like to share with us in the stream, now would be a great time. Yeah, if you ever hear me count numbers, it's because with token warps, some of the token warps, with the lag buffers that I do, I won't actually be able to tell whether or not I successfully did the trick until I can check my token count in the next level or section. So if you ever hear me say like 11 to 12 or like 14 to 15, that's just me reminding myself what my token count needs to be. Otherwise I miss the token warp, right? So.
You see, that's probably what I should be doing for some of my spat animation skips, but I just trust that I got it.
Yeah. Well, and there's so many more, right? Because you know, you got to get 77.
Yeah.
In my game, like, you're supposed to get 50. We're only gonna get like 40, 41, but we're supposed to get 50. So it's like a bit more spread out. But especially when you get rehydrated, sometimes you just get like you get spatulas like back to back to back. So it's like.
Also, I just did another kind of spat animation skip now that I got the Bubble Bowl ability. So the Bubble Bowl, if I hold the B button, you know, Spongebob charges it up and he like rolls a bubble in front of him. But if I use that when I'm going into a loading zone, if I'm like charging up a bubble and then enter, like hit the button to go to the next area, it'll break me out of the animation to like send me to the next area, so I can still move around during the loading screen. And so if I just go back and pick up the spatula, you know, the animation plays out while I'm loading the next area. And I'll be doing that a lot.
Going for rub-a-dub skip again here for the time trial token. I'll be seeing in a second. That should work. Okay. Nice. So I got the wood boost there again, and so we're out of there. Second try is really good. It's really easy to just like run it down and just like lose like a whole minute just trying to get that skip there. But that was actually found within the last year, and it kind of, you know, similar to the renaissance that's going on right now, it kind of sparked off a similar sort of thing with this game. And it's just like, oh, there's a free like 2 minutes right there.
So this, I'm about to do a fun skip. I'm going to be doing clam skip, but this version of it is called bath salt skip. Yeah, those platforms are jank. You just fly into the air with Patrick by getting an insane amount of height. Oh no, okay, I messed up that jump. So I fell back down. So you get to see it again, because it's a really funny trick. I definitely fell down on purpose, so you get to watch it again.
I have a question. I don't want to spoil anything, just in case you were planning on talking about it later. Do you all still like do the controller disconnect tag? Is that like still?
Oh yes, you'll be seeing
okay.
it multiple times.
I won't pry any further then. I'll let y'all experience that as you see it.
Oh come on! Keep jumping a little too early. This trick's not like that hard, but it's really easy to mess up if you're not careful. Unfortunately, I am not being careful enough. But yeah, there is a trick that is called load error glitch, which I will explain the first time you see it. But yes, I am playing a Spongebob game, and there's a trick called leg.
My leg!
My leg!
My leg! One of the rites of passage as a SpongeBob speedrunner is you have to learn how to do that voice. It's part of the community content.
Yeah, it's required. If you're running a SpongeBob game, if you don't meet your daily quota of 10 SpongeBob references, you're out. They don't let you back in.
Meat.
What you got?
Meat.
Meat. Yeah, no, there is actually an out-of-bounds aimless driving level that you can do. I'm not going for it because I have sacrificed runs to it recently, and I'm a little traumatized, so I'm just gonna not. But yeah, there's like because this is like, you know, like a driving racing section. There's checkpoints and stuff like that you got to worry about. So it's just like I'm not going to chance it. Yeah, I don't know if you got anything crazy on your side of things, Sam.
I'm about to do the first instance of something called VBB, or vertical bowl bounce.
Oh yeah.
Where if you just charge up a bowl and then you're able to jump on it, you just fly, like go super high into the air. So that was a stuck VBB where you like get it stuck against the wall or some geometry. There's also an unstuck version where you just like roll it against the wall and then try and jump on it before it gets out of hand. And those send you significantly higher. There'll be a couple of those later. But now I'm coming up on the most infamous room in this game, the ballroom. I will be doing ballroom skip. Hopefully I can get it quickly.
Oh,
this is also
yeah, that no.
Most infamous trick in the game. That was good timing. I don't know if my positioning was good. Yeah, no, my positioning was bad. Yeah, can't save that. Dang,
In
almost
OG
got
battle,
first
you
try.
can actually flip into the cage with the spatula in it, but you can bash it and rehydrate it, and if you're going with the sauce with the lineup.
Good timing. I don't know if my lineup was good. No, my positioning was bad. Come on. If your positioning's a little bad, sometimes you can like go up there and redirect it, but like it just keeps landing straight off the edge of the map. For me, unfortunately. It's a little far up. Yeah, no, that was bad timing. Okay. I would have been really happy if I got this like first or second try, but it takes me a few tries. That's kind of expected.
Alright, so you're gonna be noticing I'm going back to 3K. and that's because of sort of the token warp routing with this game. One of the big things that, like, you know, and this is me personally, because I've been running this game for like 9 years at this point, so like some of the snare route stuff is, you know, new to me. But one of the bigger advancements over the past couple of years has been going for token warps. Especially with, so a lot of what I'm doing to make these token warps happen is something called a lag buffer, where I double tap select and then hold start, and this will lag the game while keeping my character moving, and that gives me a bigger window to make the token warp happen.
There we go. Okay. I got Ballroom finally.
Nice.
Took more tries than I would have liked, but I wanted to get it. I wasn't going to give up.
It's such a hype trick, too.
Oh, exactly. There's a reason why it's also called Kobe skip.
Yeah. Alright, so I'm going 15 to 16 on this one. So whenever I do like a lag buffer, for the most part, I won't have a visual cue that I've gotten it until afterwards, but I have a setup for this one.
Alright. And if I do this next part correctly, I can skip 2 spat animations for the price of 1. But it's a little tricky.
Next.
Nope, okay, I messed it up. Dang. If I talk to the computer and then, similar to like the loading zone type thing before, where if I talk to the computer and then fall into the spatula, you know, it cancels the animation. And then if the animation for the first one is going on and I walk into the second spat, it just picks it up right away, and you don't have to watch the animation at all.
And something worth noting as well for the routing for both of our runs is that, you know, it's a bit more pertinent for Sam because like level access as well as certain abilities unlock at certain like collectible thresholds. So part of what's going on a bit with the routing too is we need to make sure we have enough of our stuff by a certain point, so that we can actually continue on the rest of the run.
Also, in case you missed it, I did just do a weird controller disconnect thing. That was lag that we mentioned earlier. So what happens is if you load your game and then disconnect a controller during the load will fail. And as a result, it puts you back in the game in a weird, glitchy state where you can't take damage and it skips all spat animations. And so, right there for the prawn fight, I used it to just make the fight way easier and faster because you can just stand as close to him as possible and stuff. But I will also be using it later in the run to skip, when I have to pick up more than one spat in a row, I use it to skip all of the animations. Because it takes like 4 or 5 seconds to set up the trick, but each spat animation is 4 seconds. So if you do have to pick up 2 spats, it saves like 3 or 4 seconds to do that trick. But now I'm on Goo Lagoon, and Jaxler mentioned how there's a trick that was discovered very, very recently in this game. It was discovered less than 2 weeks ago, and I'm going to be doing some of it here. It uses a glitch called Infinite Attack Glitch, or IAG, to just fly through the air. And I'll just let the trick speak for itself.
Meanwhile, I'm just in a driving level.
So yeah, the way this trick works is, I say how it works. I have no idea why it works. Nobody has any idea why it. Oh no, I took damage. Dang it, that kills the glitch. Oh well, I won't be using it anymore here, but I will be using it later. But the way the trick works from a mechanical perspective is if near the peak of your jump, you use the infinite attack glitch to attack twice in very quick succession, it'll give you a small boost of height. And if you just loop that over and over again, where before your attack animation ends the first time, you do it again, and you just loop it over and over again, you can just gain an infinite amount of height using that trick. And you can use it to cross a bunch of gaps, as well as, like, just gain a lot of height in areas where it wouldn't otherwise be possible.
Just to briefly explain the driving level I was just in. So there were 5 keys that I needed to grab in order to pass through that level. And once you get all 5, you can actually just quit out of the level and reload it, and it just remembers that you got all of the keys. So it lets you skip all that. And so right here is my first boss, which is Frogfish. And so what we're essentially going to be doing is a phase skip where with our upgraded cartwheel, it's actually going, and slam, it's actually going to allow us to bypass a damage threshold checkpoint. And so the first thing I'm going to be doing is with the upgraded slam, I'm going to slam down onto the Grandma Tongue in a very specific way to get the shockwave to stun. This lets me get 2 hits for the price of 1 and triggers phase 3 immediately. And then if I set this up right... Oop. I got 2 trash. So we got it, but... There we go. That's the quick play. And then I'm going to ask for a little bit of quiet here as I go into the start of Rock Slide. Because there's an audio cue I need to listen for something called Skydive here. So give me just a second. I'll let you know when I'm good.
To get to
Okay, never mind. We'll just go the normal way.
I
No
just
worries.
got past the cringe buoy, as I like to call it. because you get to it, and because the game's physics are just total jank, you'll die like half the time you jump on it instead of trying to actually get where you're trying to go. So it just cringes all over your run.
So what I was going for at the start of Rock Slide was a out of bounds trick where basically like the moment you load in, you have a little bit of a window before you get pulled by the slide, but that window starts like part of the way into the level fade in, so it's really tough. No big deal. If you get it first try, it saves 7 seconds, and if you miss it, you just continue on this level.
Alright. Also, I just used Infinite Attack Glitch Flying to just cross the end of the pier here. Normally, before that was discovered, we would like do a really, not like super tight, but like a little tight jump to like jump across, trigger the box, fall into the goop, respawn, and then take the box to the end. Now you can just fly over and you don't have to respawn at all. And it saves like 5-10 seconds. Also, I got another type of spat animation skip there. Because I activated Hans and then picked up the spatula before he grabbed me.
I never avoided out.
Do you have any free?
I was trying to do a bit of a skip right there in order to get around some kill points and go to a later portion of the track. I've never seen that happen before. Interesting.
Also,
How about that? There we go.
I skipped another clam there because the theme of Rehydrate is why did that have collision? So I was just able to climb straight up to where the bungee was instead of having to actually pay for it.
That honestly sounds like a lot of games that I run. Why does this have collision?
Also, I mentioned some stuff about collectibles earlier. This is where it comes into play. So there's a glitch called CCA, or Collectible Counter Abuse. The way it works is, if you're in an area where you have collected collectibles and then you warp to an area where you haven't, directly after, the game still thinks you have the same amount of collectibles as you did in the previous area. So I collected 11 steering wheels. So this game thinks I saved all 11 of the kids. And so Mrs. Puff just gives me the spatula. There is not actually 11 kids to save.
There's like 6.
Yeah, there's 5 of them, but the game thinks you saved all of them, so she just gives you the spatula while there's one flying right next to her, within eyesight.
Oh, you're talking. I got confused. I thought you were talking about campers. And I'm like,
Yeah, no, the camper, there are 6 campers.
how did you get the teleport? I remember it being like it.
Also, I don't know why I went to Rock Bottom. It's just not the next place I was supposed to go, but it doesn't really matter. Rock Bottom's fun because you don't do a single spatula as intended here.
Oh no.
Yeah, I meant to go to Jellyfish Field. That was actually where I was supposed to go next, but it doesn't actually matter. As long as I do everything. I just need to remember to go there next.
Alright, so that's jump I just did right there. That takes like 2 seconds, but if I miss it, I lose like 40. So, good thing I hit it.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't lose you any time, just as long as you hit it.
Yeah, so long as you hit it, exactly, right? And the funny thing is, like, I don't remember the old way, or, like, the safe way of going through it, so... I just would have kept running it down until I hit the trick.
Jaxler, should I do a VBB or should I do an infinite attack glitch?
I'd say VBB.
Okay, I'll do the VBB here. It's safer. It's not as fun as, you know, the new trick, but this is a lot safer. So this is an unstuck VBB. I just kind of roll it up against this wall, jump on top of it, and eventually it'll give me a ton of height.
And right here, I'm going to upgrade Bowl. I'm kind of going into the mid-game gauntlet for movie, which is Now That We're Men and Shell City Dead Ahead back-to-back. The first half of Now That We're Men isn't, like, too rough, but there's a couple of things that are pretty nasty to deal with. So there's kind of like this underneath segment, and then once I get there, like through this slide is when we're gonna basically, like, the run is gonna get really hard on my end. Give me one second to hit.
So that VBB lets me do rock bottom entirely backwards.
I'm gonna do something called bowl bashing right there in order to... Oh, that cut all my speed. But hey, at least I got a bunch of moments off of it. Am I dead? Well, this runs a little tragic, but I mean, hey.
That's all good. How marathon runs go.
Yeah.
Hey, I got stuck on ballroom for like 2 minutes, so...
Yeah, that sounds about right. Right here, I'm gonna do a bowl off of this throat pimple right here, and that's gonna allow me to, oh, I'm gonna have to wait a second here. This might be dicey now, but essentially doing that bowl right there lets me activate the monster platform, like, thing over this way, and that lets me sort of get that process started from earlier.
This is the third time I am warping to this one specific spatula. I will be warping to it one more time, because you warped to it 4 times.
Went for a bit of a strike right there.
Okay. So yeah, there's a little timer challenge here that we're definitely going to be doing as intended.
I'm not feeling like a game of pet right now.
Alright, and right there, I actually did a ledge grab as I entered that cutscene, because cutscenes like that will actually teleport you to a default location, but if Spongebob and Patrick are busy, such as doing a ledge grab, then they won't get teleported, so... Alrighty. So now I am going, this starts the mid-game gauntlet for me, so I have like 5 or 6 really tough strats and tricks, kind of all in a row here. First thing you're going to see me do is the ye old door climb, because again, everything has collision in these games. And then I do big old trampoline bounce, skip a puzzle right there, and then you're going to see 2 tricks back to back. I'm going to do what's called a double bash boost. So I'm going to do like 2 bash boosts in a row in sequence in order to get to that token over there. And I'm going to do something called monster skip in order to basically skip to the end of the level early. So we do a second bash boost, and you have to like rebuffer the bash input in order to get that one. And then I have I go for what's called blind monster skip. So I use that audio cue right there, the dum, and I double jump spin, bank off with the side of the eyeball, bash boost off of it, grab the ledge and get into the token. And then from there, we're going into what I would argue to be the hardest trick in the run, which is fling block skip, or FPS. So this is another frame perfect strat similar to what we did in Disco, where I have to jump within a frame of coming at a hit stun, but I'm doing it after cartwheeling into a spike on a rotating block. And then I even try to go for a token work after too, so we'll see how long this takes me.
Also, in the museum here, in a game where everything has collision, yes, you can just walk through the lasers at the end here. And the game just doesn't care.
Yeah, that was late. Alright, I'm gonna take my headphones off so I can just make sure I get the audio cue for this frame, so... Give me just a sec here.
Also, I am CCing again here for the paintings in rock bottom.
Ouch!
Alright, now I'm gonna actually go back to what I was supposed to go next. Before I just brain farted and went to the wrong spot. Oops.
Ouch! There we go.
So yeah, it's time for the rest of Jellyfish Fields now.
Oh, thank the Lord. Alright, I think I got the token warp too, so... I got it, nice, okay. If I didn't get that token warp there, I would have had to... Well, that would have been bad.
And this is also, if you've ever played Rehydrated, or even the original Battle for Bikini Bottom, you know that you need a lot of shiny objects. This is the grinding spot in this game because there's no better way to get money, unlike the original. I won't have to do a lot of grinding in this category because I don't need all of the spatulas, but if this were 100 spat, if this were 100 spat, I would be here for like 15 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Or if this were 100 spat, but on 1.01, I'd be here for over 30 minutes because they actually lowered the spat prices of the Mr. Krabs spats in a patch.
Yeah, because they're awesome. Alright, I'm going into Shell City dead ahead here. This is also part of the mid-game gauntlet for me. But this is a Patrick level and like a lot of kind of nutty potatoes movement stuff going on. Because my run currently sucks, I'm gonna go for the one-frame toilet skip. This is something that realistically only I go for, and it's barely fast. Okay, I'm actually just a god. Sweet, I got it for the whole reason that ends up... Yeah, sorry.
I mean, you're supposed to say it's a frame perfect trick on the easy tricks, and then when you fail the actual difficult stuff.
So coming up here is one of my favorite glitches in the movie, which is called the Invisible Crate glitch. So I'm going to be upgrading Patrick's throw in a moment, and what I'm going to do is do a charge throw with the crate into a wall, and it's going to make the box explode, but it doesn't quite fully get rid of the box, and that creates what we like to call an invisible crate, and that lets you do that. Oh, that was a really big jump.
Alright, and I'm about to also do one of my favorite tricks. This is King Jellyfish Skip. Oh, okay. I didn't get it first try. So yeah, by CCAing, you can just fulfill the requirements for defeating King Jellyfish, which is collect his jelly. But you can do it without actually beating King Jellyfish, and unfortunately I failed it enough times that I have to respawn real quick. But there's another thing called a sponge warp, where if you hop into the goo when it's supposed to knock you back, if you actually slam with perfect timing, it actually knocks you back significantly more than it's supposed to. I keep missing the brain, because it's like, it's not exactly when you get hit, it's like a couple frames after, and I keep doing it.
It's really funky. Yeah, I remember struggling when I had to...
There we go, got it that time. But yeah, by using it, you can just completely go over the curtain at the back of King Jellyfish's battle arena, and you can just skip them entirely.
So on my end... Oh, okay. There we go. So in the back half of Shell City Dead Ahead, I'm going to be going for something called 3-meter skip. The old-timey way of doing it was to do those 2-frame slide jumps all the way up and use a normal metal crate to get with it. But I figured out a setup for an invisible crate to basically ride the ceiling like I was kind of doing with the floor in 3K for Steamed Early. So here's my crate. We're gonna go up here. Also, photosensitive ring. Sorry, I kind of forgot. We're just gonna cartwheel in the ceiling. Now, if I do this right, I should only need one 2-frame jump in order to complete the trick. That might have actually been the... Okay, so something interesting with token works in this game is with the... So I mentioned that it's a 2-frame window. If you get in on the later of the 2 frames, it'll actually update the token counter before you leave. But in the earlier frame, it doesn't, and we call that the ambiguous frame. So I think I got the ambiguous frame there, but I'm not really trying to go for ambiguous frames in like a marathon setting, right? Because if I'm wrong, then, well, I just lost however much time it would take to get the token again. Also, you can just grab that ledge and it clicks you through the tunnel, and we skipped breaking one of the TVs, and I'm going to be doing some, hopefully... Okay, well, now my cycles are going to be all messed up, so we'll see how... Oh, Mike, just dead. Cool. Shoutouts to Spitters being the absolute worst. Yeah, I don't know if anything going on crazy in your neck of the woods.
I just did leg again, but this time I'm doing a 2 skip spat animations. And on top of that, what I'm about to do is the only sock dupe in the entire run. Oh, I only had 1 health. Okay. It doesn't matter. I already got the spats, so I can just go straight to the sock dupe. But this one sock specifically, when you destroy the Sandman, it starts a cutscene. The sock in the cutscene you can collect, and so if you collect it in the cutscene and then skip the cutscene, it spawns in the world after that. You can just collect the one in the cutscene and the one outside of the cutscene. You just get 2 socks. It's really weird that it works that way, and it's even weirder it's the only one that works that way.
Yeah.
But I'm not complaining.
Alright, so I just got done with SCDA, and I'm going to be going into the first encounter with Dennis. I'm going to be attempting a quick kill here with Patrick, and I'll explain kind of how the quick kill mechanically works after I hopefully get it, but it's a bit precise, so give me a second here. I was late. This will be fucking good. Yeah, okay. I'm just gonna go ahead and reload the fight here. If you mess up the quick kill, then things go bad really, really quick, so let's get that another shot.
Also, you might think going down the slides in Sand Mountain are long, but you get 2 spats for each one, so that's why we do one of them. Plus the fact that this one has 3 socks on it. So it winds up actually not being slow.
Alright, so the way... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
So I meant to leg, and then I accidentally quit to the menu. Whoops.
All good. So what I did there in the Dennis fight is I threw the charged melon, like the charged throw melons, in such a way where it hit Dennis both, like, as he lands, like while he's midair and as he lands with the explosion hitbox. And so that essentially damages him twice. And so you can kind of loop that twice and like absolutely nuke his HP bar. And we'll be seeing something similar to that because we'll have a refight with Dennis with Spongebob later, and we can do that with the upgraded Spongebob, which is a big part of the reason why we upgraded it earlier. But yeah, no, that... Unfortunately, I didn't get that quick kill first try, but sometimes that's just how it goes. But I'm going to be doing a little bit of backtracking here to get some more Goofy Goober tokens, because we need to make sure we have enough to... we need to make sure that we get 40, or well, we're supposed to have 40 for the Sonic Wave guitar, which is the equivalent of the Cruise Bubble in Battle for Bikini Bottom. But we're not going to be needing exactly 40 right away by the time we get to that level.
And speaking of Cruise Bubble, this is Robo Patrick. This is the fight you need to do in order to actually get the Cruise Bubble. It's technically optional because it's possible to skip this fight entirely, but because I'm playing on the current patch of the game, if I were to skip this fight here, it would be impossible for me to get the Cruise Bubble any other way. And the final fight without Cruise Bubble is very doable, but hard, and I would rather not do that, especially not in a marathon setting, so... I'm going to be doing this. Is that something that
runners are doing nowadays, or...?
Well, on PC, you get Cruise Bubble because they down patch.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
On console, yes, people do skip IP and do the final boss fight without Cruise Bubble, but it's not that many people do.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Yeah, but this one fight takes over 3 minutes, so you can see why skipping it would be fast, even if it makes stuff harder.
Yeah, and I'm going through another floating block bit here, so we're both kind of just like doing pretty straightforward stuff, at least for the moment. So, Joker, if you want to pop your head in and share anything with us, now would be a great time.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to remind everybody that you are watching Multithon 2024, benefiting our friends at Blue Path. Multithon is a speedrunning event raising money for Blue Path Service Dogs, a charity that provides service animals to autistic individuals. Multithon focuses on co-op runs, races, and games with multiple protagonists or helper characters, led by the belief that we are better and faster together. Your donations go to a great cause in Blue Path. And reminder, last year we got the chance to name a Blue Path service dog. His name is Thunder. He's wonderful. We saw him in an interview earlier today. And, you know, we want to be able to continue to afford that opportunity for families to be able to have those service dogs and those service animals for their family members. So don't forget, when you do donate, please make sure to put your donations towards our open incentives and bid wars. You can do those both through Tiltify, because we do have a few open, and one of them's coming up next. In the Shadow the Hedgehog run, the bid war between Chaotix% and Sonix%.
Alright, one more hit and I'm out of Industrial Park finally.
Yeah, that's one of the really nice things about the Rehydrated remake compared to like the original game is that, like, the boss fights are just a lot more streamlined and don't take forever. Like,
Some
one of the
still
biggest
take a while,
reasons, yeah, they do, but like, especially Robo Sandy, like, one of the biggest reasons why I personally prefer to run Rehydrated. Well, I haven't run Rehydrated either in forever, but like, just I can't go back to the boss fights on OG. I just can't.
Yeah. Yeah, Robo Sandy in this version is less than a minute long.
I think on OG it's like 3 or something bonkers like that.
Yeah. Well, the fastest version literally does 6 hits in a row with Patrick, so
Oh yeah.
needless to say, you don't exactly do that in a 77 run, but you still do multiple hits with Patrick in a row without even letting Sandy attack again. Unfortunately, the Flying Dutchman fight, there's no way to skip it in Rehydrated.
Oh yeah. Do you do the not the Rehydrated fight, the Dutchman fight in 77?
Thankfully, no, because it's like over 2 minutes long.
Oh.
But in 100 Spat, it's like one of the last things you do, and it's just excruciating.
Yeah, they don't even do it in OG in the 80% run anymore. It's pretty wild. With how fast you can skip it, it's no longer fast enough to be in that route. Pretty wild. Oh, Goober just blocked one ball from there, and you just blocked the Nitro. Cool.
Also,
Goober can be your angel or your devil. Sorry, go ahead.
This is SpongeBob's Dream. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff that's not intended here. This is the Super Bounce Spat that we don't pay for because we can just land on the trampolines off the slide. And then immediately after, I'm going to be doing leg oil skip. So I'm going to be doing load air glitch so that I can't take damage, and I'm going to be landing on a glob of oil in midair to get my jumps back.
It's funny because both Rehydrated and the original have like an oil skip, in a sense, but they go about it in a completely different way. It's kind of cool.
Alright, we're going to need to listen for the audio cue. Ah, dang it. Okay. This trick's a little tricky because sometimes the slicks don't want to cooperate and fire at a good angle.
Yeah, you also have to manipulate where like the goop gets sent. And if you don't set it up right, it just
That's what we needed.
Yeah. Alright. There we go. Got it that time. And the fact that you use load air glitch for this strat, it's just a bonus because you pick up 2 spats along the way, so you also skip the animations for both of those. So it's like even without.
Do you get the rolling ball there as well, I assume?
Yeah, you get the rolling ball one because you can just jump up and get it immediately, and then you go get the one at the end as well. Alright, and if you thought SpongeBob Dream wasn't broken enough, it also has Sandy.
Yeah.
so it's time to fly.
Ice cream makes me dizzy.
And since I picked up that spat while getting Hans, it skips the animation for it. Also, if anybody didn't know, that hand that picks you up is called Hans. It has a name.
Yep. He's in this game too, yeah. We love Hans. Well, actually, most of the time we don't.
We love it when we want to get grabbed by him.
Yeah.
Otherwise, go away.
In the original version of Battle for the Kingdom, there's actually a glitch called Hans Disable, where you can actually, like, if you enter, like, a loading zone while Hans is on screen, he just does not, he just says bye, and he's just gone. And then that actually allows you to, like, walk further out of bounds and do some cool stuff, so. But I don't think Rehydrated has a similar thing.
Yeah, Rehydrate does have a Hans Disable, but it is not that useful because it's very situational. It is actually how you do a version of IP skip, though, to skip Robo Patrick, is you do a Hans Disable.
Oh, interesting, okay.
Okay, and then that's the end of Dream.
Oh, I thought my game almost just crashed right there. Okay.
Now it's time for Kelp Forest, which is relatively uneventful, but very fast, because you just do it backwards. And unlike Rock Bottom, where you have to, do a VBB or do some infinite attack glitch flying or something, Kelp Forest, you literally just jump on this vine here, and you're at the end of the level. That easy.
So I'm in a level, we normally abbreviate it to GESC. It's called Googly Eyes and Smelly Nicknames. This is where we get King Neptune's crown. And so I'm actually doing these faucets a little bit out of order, so I can do a death whip right there and get myself right to the end of the track here. And I'm also going to be setting up my HP so that I can do a death warp later as well. Instead of like doing kind of the intended route, out top we're going to grab 2 targets for Solaris that we got to break. And then I'm going to death warp after the last set of targets. So kind of a cool new little route that's come about over the past couple of years.
Also, we just beat Mermaid's time on that slide by with a record-breaking time of 0 seconds. Because you can, using some shenanigans, you can just take the box to the end and just jump into the trigger. You have to do the shenanigans first, though, because the game normally would make it so you fail the challenge if you go into a box, but if you switch characters to Patrick and then switch back to Spongebob, it disables that for some reason. Alright. Since we're going backwards through Kelp Forest, collect a spat and then warp to it and you skip an entire area.
That was a crazy save. So I almost had a situation. This happened a lot on slides in both OG SpongeBob games, where sometimes you'll jump off a slide and you get locked into a direction. So I had to do kind of a adjust there in order to not die. Coming up on the end here, you're gonna see me go into that second Dennis fight. It's gonna look, it's gonna be similar in concept to Dennis 1, where I'm gonna be damaging the boss kind of like as he's jumping between spots to damage him twice in one attack. But this time I'm going to be doing it with SpongeBob's upgraded Sponge Bowl, which is going to do a boatload of damage. And we're also going to be on David Hasselhoff's back, which is not something you get to say every day.
Life would be a lot more interesting if I could say that every day.
I suppose so, yeah. But it would come at the cost of having to run this game. No, I'm just kidding. Alright, let's see how this quick kill goes. It's not that hard of a quick kill, but I've also just been kind of trash at it lately.
I'm also going to do the last CCA of the run to tell Mrs. Puff I saved all the campers while they're still lost in Kelp Forest.
I'm going to do a quick backtrack as well here to Yesk to go grab a one more time challenge token. So we want to be at 36 tokens going into Plank. Planktopolis, which is kind of like the last major platforming level before the final boss. You know what? I'm gonna go for this for the fans. This might just lose me the race, but I don't care. Oh? Hold on. There is simply no way I just hit that live. Oh my god, I hit, oh my, okay. So, that is my first time ever hitting that in a run. That is called guest jumps. So, the way guest jumps work is that in slide levels, those like anti-slide movement slide jumps, they are a 1-frame window when you're with SpongeBob and Patrick. So I just did a skip there in order to skip the entire first section. I've been running this game for like 9 years. I have never landed that in a run. That's normally I go for it, I mess it up. So like you have to like do this really weird like arcing pattern to like get up there, and then you have to nail the frame in order to start the chain, and then you have to chain 1 frames. So
what I'm hearing is that's never happened before.
oh yeah.
Hey, he said the thing.
Yes, that is an ILPB for me. Normally I get through there. So that was a like kind of a slow example of it. Normally I get through there in a 123. I think you can sub-minute that. So I guess that makes up for how kind of cruddy this run has been. But hey. All right. Now we're coming into. Oh, go ahead.
I was saying that I just did a spat animation skip that was a load spat animation skip. By loading the game and then backing out of the menu while you're loading the game, you can pick up the spatula and still have it count. And you do that to just go back to the last checkpoint faster.
Alright, so in this level, you're supposed to have 40 tokens in order to unlock the Sonic Wave Guitar. What I'm going to do instead is use 4 of the tokens from this level to contribute towards that 40. And so I'm going to start by skipping that button you're supposed to hit with the Sonic Wave Guitar. By doing a bash and then jumping out of that animation. And then I'm going to go for a quick cycle on this bungee challenge right here. So I didn't really mention it during the other bungee challenges because there was kind of some crazy stuff going on Sam's end. Oh, I beefed the cycle, so I'm gonna have to improv here. I'm gonna go ahead and just restart bungee here.
Also, I'm going to be doing some more infinite attack glitch flying. If I wanted to, I could literally just fly basically to the end of the area with this trick. But I'm not consistent enough with it to fly that far. Unfortunately, I wish I was. So I'm going to be doing some smaller flights in order to get where I'm trying to go, but still save some time with it.
There we go. Okay, I loved it. So something that we do with the bungee sections is something called the infinite dive glitch, where if you get stuck underneath one of the targets, it actually removes the need to have to go all the way back up to the top of the bungee to plunge back down. And so I just did an out of bounds right there, and I just clicked back inbounds. That was actually really fast. Then I'm going to grab 2 more tokens right here. We're going to get the Ice Skating Idiot token. I'm going to try to do a lag buffer token work with the cartwheel setup off of it into the combat challenge. So what I'm going to do is toss the ice cube, grab the melon, and then wedge myself into the newly grown ice cube. And that's going to clip me like through like kind of a ledge that the game wants you to jump over. And just kind of lets me run with the throw fruit and gets me in here. Alright, so you saw that like flash of light there. That pretty much confirms that I got the token warp. And then we're going into the hardest token in the game. Let's go! We got it. We killed the jellyfish. No, they just put this combat challenge at the end of the game and all you gotta do is just kill the jellyfish. It's so funny.
Alright, and what I was able to get the infinite flying to where I was trying to go. I was trying to do one more, which is not required, but if I were to get it, it would technically save a little bit of time, but I unfortunately failed the last one. But I got the ones that mattered, at least, and got to the bungee clam faster.
So right there, if you just grab that wall, you just clip right out of bounds. And so what I'm going to be doing right here is skipping like a very, very large portion of Spongebob. So this More Balance Please challenge is always loaded underneath the map, and so is the token. And we mentioned like way earlier that if you grab a token for a challenge, it will unlock that token's warp point in the menu. So what we're going to do, that's going to get us to 40. We're going to warp back to the start of the level, unlock guitar, and then warp back to that objective and skip into the second half of Spongebob. But before I do that warp, let me go ahead and talk to Mindy here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bowl with Spongebob here, and then detonate the bomb, and then quit out while the explosion is still on screen. And so that's going to set up a glitch called bowl storage, and that's going to be very, very important later on. But all you need to know for right now is that essentially for the rest of the run, I am not allowed to use the bull move. And coming up is maybe my favorite trick visually to watch in the run. We're going to have another flashing lights warning on my side of the screen. And this is something called a guitar glide clip. So what you can do on any wall jump surface in only movie is if you press the guitar button at a certain timing, you just start hovering midair. And if I combine this with a lag buffer, I can actually clip through some walls, and it's going to let me do some really cool nonsense in here.
Right.
There's the first one. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold on.
Also, I just turned in all of my spatulas from getting this, or turned in all the socks to Patrick, got the spatulas from him, and spatula from Krabs. So I'm going to the final boss right now, actually.
He is not giving me the guitar input I'm looking for. Got it, okay. So I set it up sideways right there so that I get that really big boost of airtime, and then I cancel that momentum with a spin. And if I do this right, hopefully this will let me hover all the way over to that final room. Height's a little dicey, but I'm gonna try to go for this anyway.
Also, with this first phase of the final boss fight here, I disabled Roboplankton in front of me right here, so I can just stand here and wail on him with on Robo Spongebob with the cruise bubble. It's definitely how this fight was intended. Just standing here and using it.
Oh, I died. Are you serious? Come on. Oh, I gotta do this right again, so...
Alright, now moving on to phase 2.
Yeah.
So phase 2 is platforming.
Yeah. Time will probably be coming up for Sam relatively.
Yes,
well,
time will be... I'll call it out, but time will be when I hit the last fuse. But yeah, I'm definitely not going to be going through this section as intended. I'm going to be trying to hit as many things as early as possible. But some of that requires precise bull shots, and I don't know if I'm going to hit any or all of them. But I'm also going to be doing something called a cruise bounce, where if you use cruise bubble right when you land on a trampoline, you can use it while bouncing through the air. And that lets you get some of these fuse hits a little quicker. Alright. Now I'll be doing one more cruise bounce here. You can just hold it as well as you fly through the air, which is kind of funny looking. Alright, this is either the second to last or third to last fuse. If I hit that bull shot earlier, this will be the last one. Otherwise, I'll have to go get it. Time.
Nice. GG's.
I'm actually really surprised I got that bull shot.
Yeah. That's a hard bull shot, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, GG's, like...
Thank you.
It's so funny, too, and I was mentioning this to Sam before, like, we got on the air. It's just, like, I did not know how this race, like, was going to turn out in terms of, like, final times. Just because of all, like, the new stuff that got found with Rehydrated recently. Because I think the estimates made a lot more sense, like, before, like, the infinite flying and stuff got found, but...
Yeah.
Anywho. I did something kind of cool there called Monumental Bash. So I actually did a bash boost off of the laser beam from the statue boss right there. Okay, so we're doing kind of a crazy glitch here. So remember earlier how I like detonated that that bull attack like explosion and like left? So that's always like loaded into the game right now because of that setup I did. And so if I, weirdly enough, if I load into the Spongeball challenge and then what I can do from there is head back to Drive of Knucklehead. I hold A, and then I keep mashing through the menus here. So basically for like a frame or two, as soon as you reopen this dialogue, you have control of the paddy wagon off camera. So if you drive into the pit with all of this... Oh, this...
Bring back the paddy wagon,
okay, so my game just crashed. So I think we're gonna just call it here. I have no idea why that happened. Yeah, no, it would take like several minutes to like get the backup file up and going. So
that's
you know what? that honestly, that's probably the best way this could have turned out. It was funny.
Oh, that's an indication of these games are so broken, it'll crash on you.
Yeah. So something was a little funky with that bolt storage setup is probably what it was. It's okay. It was a good time, and I got to show off a game I really care about. So yeah, that's Rehydrated in a movie, everybody. I don't, honestly, this is kind of fitting. This is kind of just the movie experience. So
Yeah.
I'm fully not coping.
Yeah.
Well, you
had
also hit a big skip first try.
Yeah.
I did. That is true.
You even managed to have a rehydrated moment without even playing rehydrated.
Oh, pain. Oh, well, that's gonna do it for us. That was a ton of fun. Thanks for taking the both of us Multithon folks as like this kind of race thing. Sorry my game crashed, but I figured it would probably be best to just, while the energy is still good, just leave it on the hard crash.
Yeah, if anybody didn't know, we submitted these runs separately, and the organizers came to us and said, "Hey, you want to race them?" And here we are.
And we didn't even like practice commentary or anything like that because it's just like rehydrated moment and movie moment. It's just like there's so much going on with these games. These games are super freaking rad. We have Discord servers for like every SpongeBob game, so if you want to run something SpongeBob related, either reach out to us or check on speedrun.com for your SpongeBob game of choice.
Rehydrated is a part of the overall Battle for Bikini Bottom Discord server, in case you get confused by that.
Mm-hmm.
They are the same server.
Yeah, I think Cosmic Shake has its own server, and then Movie has its own server as well. But if you need any help finding those, let us know. All kind of like the whole SpongeBob community has like a ton of resources for things like how to do the stuff you just saw, as well as like some more beginner-friendly stuff.
Yeah.
And,
if you're interested in Rehydrated, it was actually added to Xbox Game Pass 4 days ago. So
go play
timing.
it. It's really fun.
Well, where can folks find you if they want to continue watching more of these SpongeBob speedruns and other games?
You can find me at twitch.tv/IllegallySam, or just IllegallySam on like every platform that you try to find me on. If I have an account, that's what you'll find me at. I speedrun this game. I speedrun other games. I'm good at some of them.
And you can find me at twitch.tv/Jaxler1. Like I've been running this game for 9 years, but I also run like a whole bunch of other stuff. We're both kind of weirdos that like stuff that's off the beaten path. So go speedrun and play like weird games that no one's ever heard of. You meet so many awesome people doing it.
Jaxler does the more obscure games that are like on platforms that not a lot of people will do runs on. I am more in the indie space, but a few other games as well.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that's all it for us. So thank you for having us both. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you both for joining us, and GG's on both of the runs. We are going to take a very quick break to get ourselves set up and ready to go for our next run, which will be the Shadow the Hedgehog run. So please stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few moments.